Viewers, this is the global news on Top Accolade News. First, the headlines. Nigerian government commences construction of first avian cargo village. Nigerian president expresses sadness over death of military officers in helicopter crash. US asks Iran to stop selling drones to Russia. Details coming up shortly. On security matters, Nigerian president expresses sadness over death of military officers in helicopter crash. President Bola Tinubu on Tuesday night has expressed his condolences for the deaths of 4 military officers who died at Chukwuba village near Shiroro, Niger State in a helicopter crash while on evacuation mission. He emphasized that the servicemen were not just servicemen, but national heroes who sacrificed their lives for the country's peace and security. Tinubu also expressed his condolences to the families of the deceased officers, the Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Air Staff, Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Naval Staff, and the entire armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Moving on, Rivers State Police to flag off Operation Zero Crime. In a bid to combat crimes in Rivers State, the police command, under the auspices of the State Commissioner, Emeka Polycarp Umoyi, has decided to flag off a program tied to Operation Zero Crime in Rivers State, Nigeria next week. The Commissioner said that it will collaborate with the Rivers State Council of Nigeria Union of Journalists NUJ, Performing Musicians Association of Nigeria PIMAN, comedians, hoteliers, and corporate organizations in the state for safety. Speaking to Top Accolade News in Ye Krukubo, today the chairman P-Man Tamonotonyi Benga Olo said the Zero Crime Initiative is aimed at combing crimes in the state and to make River State a safe haven.
The River State Zero Crime is about combing crime for the Rivers residents and investors to make sure River State is a safe haven for everybody. So the Commissioner of Police called on the stakeholders from the NUJ, the PMAN, and the Actors Guild, River State, to come in partnership with them. And we are trying to put heads together to make the event a progressive one, which is there will be a medical outreach. There will be a night of laughter and pageantry. There will be essay on the commissioner's program for students, and a lot of things will take place. I think the governor will be attending this program so that he can speak on security and the growth of a peaceful environment for everybody. So it was a success, the meeting, and we are putting heads together to make sure we have a good event at the end of the day. I think the event is coming up September. By September, we'll be having a date for it, and the date will be publicized for everybody to know about it. It's a good one for the state, and we are giving a very good kudos to the Commissioner of Police.
You're watching the news on Top Accolade News. We will go on a short break. And thanks for staying with us. On infrastructure matters, federal government commences construction of first avian cargo village. The federal government, through the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN, has commenced the construction of the first avian cargo village in the country. The cargo village occupies 27,000 square meters landmass and can accommodate all the export processes at the airport. In reaction to the development, the Managing Director of FAN, Mr. Kabir Mohammed, while speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony, stated that establishing an avian cargo village was identified as one of the quick wins in addressing the rejection of agro-export from Nigeria and increasing the country's exports and earnings. Mr. Kabir said the proposed cargo village is a recommendation from the FAN Avia Cargo Road Map Committee that aims to streamline agro-export processes, ensuring a seamless operation from farm to airplane. On education, federal government says federal universities shouldn't charge tuition fees. The federal government has insisted that no federal university should charge tuition fees from Nigerian students. This was made known by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, David Adejo, during a public hearing called by the House of Representatives Ad hoc Committee on Student Loans in Abuja. Adejo decried the recent hike in charges by federal universities, noting it was unfortunate. He added that the only charge federal universities are allowed to charge was to cover cost of accommodation, information and communication technology, power, and the likes. He explained it was the responsibility of the governing councils of the university to approve such charges. While faulting the Student Loan Act, Adejo said despite the increase in charges, institutions are still not able to meet up with some of their expenses. You're watching the news on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. And still to come. And thanks for joining us. Still on the news. North Korea captures U.S. soldier. North Korea has given indications that it arrested a U.S. soldier who crossed into its territory in July, while Private Army Travis King family has appealed for him to be treated humanely and released. The focus now is why he entered one of the most hostile countries on earth at a time of heightened tensions in the peninsula. United States military authorities say King willfully and without authorization crossed into North Korea on July 18 while taking a civilian tour of the Joint Security Area (JSA), a small collection of buildings inside the 150-mile-long demilitarized zone (DMZ) that has separated North and South Korea since the end of the Korean War in 1953. Reports say after voting over the demarcation line delineating the border in July, King tried to enter a North Korean facility, but the door was locked. He then ran to the back of the building, at which point he was hurried into a van and driven away by the North Korean guards. US officials say they have repeatedly contacted North Korea for an update on King's condition, but have not received a substantive response. Away from that, United States asks Iran to stop selling drones to Russia. According to reports, the United States is pushing Iran to stop selling armed drones to Russia as part of discussions between Washington and Tehran to de-escalate tensions. Washington is pressing Tehran to stop selling armed drones to Moscow, which Russia is using in the war in Ukraine, as well as spare parts for the unmanned aircraft, the report said, citing an Iranian official with another person familiar with the talks. The White House and Iran's foreign ministry did not immediately respond to a Reuters request for comment. The news comes as Washington and Iran are trying to ease the tensions and revive broader talks over Iran's nuclear program. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said on Tuesday that he would welcome any Iranian steps to de-escalate its growing nuclear threats. Moving on, in sports, the Tigers fails pre-Olympic qualifiers. Nigeria has experienced an unexpected end to its pre-Olympic run when the senior female national team, the Tigers, lost their second consecutive game to Mali on Tuesday in Lagos. The team had lost their first game of the qualifiers to Senegal on Monday and needed a win to stand a chance to qualify for the Olympics, but lost 77-68 to the Malian side. And that's the news for now. Before we go, let's take another look at the major stories. Nigeria government has commenced construction of first Avia cargo village. Tinubu expressed sadness over death of military officers in helicopter crash. United States asks Iran to stop selling drones to Russia. Thanks for joining us. I am Jonathan Powe. Do enjoy the rest of your day.